Google Pest Control. Marketer, grow your business like never before. Call 770-993-0004.
Well, hello, folks. This is Hal Coleman, the Pest Control Marketer, and I'm here with Mike Stewart, the Internet Wizard, and we're here to talk about pest control. Welcome to another episode of Pest Control Marketing Live and the Pest Control Marketing Podcast, where we want to give you some great tips, strategies, and often sneaky little secrets that we share with you on how to make the phone ring, how to get more new customers, build your customer base, grow your business, and make more deposits in your local bank, make your banker happy, make your customers happy, make your spouse or your partner happy, and it makes Mike and me happy. Isn't that right, Mike?
You 1,000% correct. It's amazing. Sometimes people are afraid of success, and what we want to do is we want to break through those barriers to where people realize that growing your business is going to one day give you freedom that you never believed was possible. So,
oh yeah, and for the people that can't see us right now, we're both wearing pretty special shirts. I'm wearing my red and black Georgia Bulldog shirt because it's college football season. Again, I love college football, and not to mention that the Bulldogs were national champions last year, could be headed there again this year. Some people say they have a better team this year than they did last year. And Mike is wearing a shirt that I saw a guy wearing one just like that the other day. And a flock of hummingbirds was chasing him across the parking lot.
Well,
bright flowery shirt, and it looks great, Mike.
I like big, colorful Hawaiian shirts because I'm on holiday every day because I love what I do, and I like the comfort of it, and I like the color and the brightness, and just makes me happy. And
there you go. There you go. You doing okay?
Huh?
You doing okay?
Doing great. I'm loving life. I'm loving doing all the things I do in music, and here I love working with the PCOs that I'm working with. So, life is good, and I enjoy doing this podcast. I'm such a believer in podcasting and content marketing. I just can't tell people how important on the internet creating fresh, relevant, consistent content. Fresh, relevant, consistent content is the key, and we don't just recommend it to people. We're living examples of what we believe. We do it ourselves.
I'm coming up there next month to spend a few days with you, and you know what we're going to do? We're going to create some fresh, relevant content that we can share, and we're going to actually pick up some musical instruments and sit out on your houseboat and entertain some folks and write some songs, I think.
We're going to do all of that. I can't wait for you to visit. But, it's funny. When I was living in Georgia, we used to meet virtually because Roswell to Cumming was almost as big a pain to get to as Roswell or Nashville, sometimes depending on the traffic.
I'm telling you. Yeah. It was.
Well, you've got something that you told me. I was running a little late getting to the computer here today, and you gave me a heads up of what you want to talk about, which I think is a very needed subject. It's amazing how I've had people over the years say, "Well, I tried that paid advertising approach and it didn't work, so the advertising doesn't work." And my knee-jerk reaction is, I don't know what you spent money on. I've heard it several times. Yeah, we've tried that. And then I look at their website and I go, well, no wonder nobody responded. There was no response triggers. There were no incredible offers. There was no calls to action. There was just, what you call lemonade for 50 cents. You're just like everybody else. The message is so important. But the advertising, all it guarantees you is eyeballs and ears. That's all it does. People can see it, people can hear it, but that's no guarantee they're going to respond. So what do you want to title today? What is the title?
Well, I want to title it today, Mike, Don't Be Afraid to Advertise. Some people look at advertising, coaching, and marketing and such similar things as expenses. But I don't look at them as expenses. I rather look at them as investments in your business and in your future. And just like you hire, if you got $100,000 that you want to turn it over to an investment broker, and they turn out to be somebody that is either not honest or doesn't know what the hell they're doing, and they take your $100,000, and a couple of years later you got $20,000, and they don't return your phone calls. Well, you can't say that advertising, that buying into the stock market doesn't work. You just have to say, I went with the wrong person and they didn't buy the right stuff for me, so and the reason I wanted to talk about this, Mike, is because it comes up regularly with when I offer that 1 hour free consultation, and I spend quite a bit of time doing those for folks. And one of the things that comes up in our initial conversation is, I've spent a fortune in advertising over the years, and I haven't gotten my money, but I haven't gotten good results from any of it. I just, I'm at my wit's end. I just keep pouring money into advertising, and I'm not getting anything back, good return on my investment. Excuse me. So then after we, if they get in my program, we start talking about advertising. I begin to show them why they're advertising. Just like Larry Latimer, y'all, if you listen to my podcast, or Mike, you've heard me tell this story more than once, if you're a regular listener, about Larry Latimer and how that 5-minute conversation at the Waffle House changed my life and my future when he explained to me what makes advertising work and why ads work and why certain ads work and certain ads don't work, why my direct mail didn't work for me. And I came to the summation there that direct mail doesn't work for pest control companies. But so I blamed it on direct mail. I should have blamed it on the ad agent, because as it turned out, as I look back on it, he was pretty clueless about how to sell pest control and what made people buy pest control, and when they buy it, when they don't, what they're looking for, what they want, what they don't want, what happened to Aunt Louise with a pest control company 10 years ago and they don't want it to happen to them, and what conversations keep people awake at night when they're thinking about buying. They didn't have a clue, but boy, were they great salespeople. You know what they knew how to sell better than anything in the world?
Go for
ads.
it. Yeah.
Ads. They knew how to sell ads, and they sold me ads, and I spent thousands of dollars buying ads and listening to their promises, and none of the promises really came true. And now looking back at, I actually stumbled upon the other day, I don't have it now, I don't know where it is, but I was going through, when I sold my pest control business about 15 years ago, I guess. I packed everything up from my office, and I've got it all boxed up in here. And I was looking through there I had a skull collection of wild animals, skulls that I'd come upon, snakes, turtles, badgers, weasels, bobcats, all this stuff. So my grandson's real interested in that. And I'm going through some boxes looking for that. And I came upon advertising pieces that I had done years ago, and I'm looking at them now. Yeah, I see why they didn't work. There was no bold promise. There was no deal. One of them did have a deal in it, but it wasn't a very good deal, and it didn't speak to the homeowner's subconscious. There was no offer of free, such as free estimates, free consultation. There was just so many things that weren't there, but basically they had my name and the name of my company rather, and the company phone number, and a lot of bugs on there. And they said, "Oh, you'll get somewhere between a 1% and a 2% return on this." Well, I got like a 0.0 5% return on it. Came nowhere even near breaking even on my investment. And it happened happened several times. And then here comes along Larry Latimer and teaches me how this works, and totally unconventional stuff that I'd never heard of before. And just to prove to me that it worked, we set up a direct mail campaign for my company. He didn't charge me anything for it. He said, I'm just going to do this for you to prove it to you. He was a good friend, and he just wanted to help me. So we set up a campaign to mail to 1,000 people. And I wrote my first, under Larry's tutelage, I wrote my first long form sales letter. And it was about roof rats in Fulton County, in the area that we live in. And once I started writing, I just hardly couldn't quit writing. Just writing about rats, where they come from, explaining what commensal rodents are, all this stuff. And I end up with this letter that's 7 pages long. Now, conventional wisdom says I showed that letter to my cousin, who actually had a construction business, and she said, nobody's going to read all of that. That is the stupidest thing I've ever seen. Nobody's going to read all of that stuff. And Larry said, oh, they'll read it if they're interested in it. They'll read every bit of it. So we sent that thing out. It cost me about, we sent it out in a full legal size, envelope. It cost about $2.50 per one to send them out. And I ended up with like a 250-something% net profit after paying my technicians to do the work, after the mailing out, after the inspections, after the wages, the gasoline, the wear and tear, the materials we used, and everything. I netted like a 250% net profit from that letter that we mailed out, a 7-page letter that we mailed out to 1,000 people. So I'm thinking, wow, I would have never in a million years believed that this would have worked. Here's what I want to tell people. If you say you did direct mail and it didn't work, it's not that direct mail didn't work. It's your piece that you mailed out didn't work. If you run an ad in a publication and you don't get any calls from it, it doesn't mean that advertising in that publication doesn't work. It means that nobody responded to your ad because your ad didn't work. And so don't be afraid to advertise, but you need to learn about advertising. You need to learn what makes an ad work and listen, this is your business. This is your livelihood. This is your future. This is hopefully going to be a retirement that someday you cash in and can live a great lifestyle because you built up a pest control company that was a hot item and it was working and it was profitable and somebody came along and paid you a lot of money for it. That's what I did. I mean, I'm living proof that you can do it, but don't leave your advertising and your marketing up to ad agents. I'm telling you, they don't know how to sell your stuff. They know how to sell ads, and they operate based on conventional wisdom. Oh, just put your name of your company and your phone number. That's all you need to do. If somebody needs you, they'll call you. Don't worry about it. Well, that's just a bunch of hogwash. You have to touch a nerve in people and make them create what I call an apple dropping moment. If somebody, imagine somebody sitting there reading an apple and they see your ad and they start reading your ad and they go, and they just drop the apple on the floor. They're just so enamored with your ad and what it says. And they say, I want to pick up the phone right now and call these people and take advantage of this. I need this. And you owe it to yourself to learn this stuff because this is your future. Marketing and advertising is the most important aspect of your business. Some people say, oh, no, it's customer service or it's sales. No, it's not. If you provide the best customer service in the entire industry, that'll only carry you so only a certain number of people are going to know about that. So customer service is highly important, but you got to go way beyond your local little group of people that know you, and you got to advertise to people that don't know you if you want to grow your business. And so you've got to learn this stuff, or else you're going to be at the mercy of ad agents that are going to sell you ads both online and offline. And if you ask them what a psychological buying response trigger is, they'd look at you like, what in the world are you talking about? What does that have to do with advertising? So, folks, you need to learn this stuff. And when you do, you will never, ever have to worry about getting new customers, because the phone will be ringing, because your ads will be working. Won't they, Mike?
Well, I think we need, at this point in the conversation, I want to give some definitions. Number one, media. Media is a device to convey a message to the masses. That's what media is. What was the first media? The printing press. Up until the printing press, it was very difficult to make newspapers, magazines, printed pamphlets. They had to all be done by hand, one at a time. So there was no media that was mass. But media today is anything that can deliver a message to the masses. And that's what advertising is. I have the media, and I will get your message in front of everybody, to everyone we reach.
Yeah.
Okay. What else is media? Radio, television, billboards, door
to door, door hangers, business cards.
Distribution of media is the mechanism, the physical mechanism of getting your message in front of the eyes and ears of a potential customer who doesn't know you, doesn't trust you, doesn't like you, isn't sure they want to spend money with you, but they got a problem you can solve. That is what media is. And social media is a big term that people throw around. Well, all it is the internet is media. It's a technology to get a message in front of a mass. In other words, it's not one-to-one. If I go knock on a door, I'm taking my message to an individual one at a time. That's not media. But the message could be the same message that you put in media. What is social media? It's the ability to share your message with many and have other people share your message with their friends. And it's using the technology. So all the internet is the printing press, radio, and television, all combined into one technology that can reach cell phones. So marketing to the cell phone is the media of today. And I've had over and over again hear people say, well, I've tried YouTube ads. I had a client I interviewed the other day that you referred to me, said, yeah, well, we did Google AdWords and they don't work. Yeah, well, if you sent people through that media to the messages I see on your website right now, no wonder it didn't work. Because here comes another definition. There's 3 types of big advertising in the media world. Image advertising, urgency advertising, and direct response advertising. Our mentor, Dan Kennedy, says if you're a small business, you can't afford image advertising. Yet so many people fell victim to these agencies that say, we're going to make a brand out of you.
Yeah, we're going to brand you. Yeah.
We're going to brand you. We're going to make you a brand. I say hogwash, BS, and a waste of money. And if somebody hears this and you don't like it, I don't care, because it's the truth. Here's the truth. You need somebody believing you can solve their problem, and the response you want is them calling you and saying, in fact, I had one of our coaching clients say that because he's consistently built an internet presence with content marketing, not advertising. Content marketing is a type of advertising. It costs effort and consistency. Hence why we do this podcast consistently. It's part of our advertising. Be honest with you. He said, Mikey, you're going to love this. He said, I had somebody call me and say, don't sell me anything. I'm sold on you because I've listened to all of your podcasts and you're the guy that can solve my problem. He said, don't sell me anything. I'm ready to buy.
Well, there you
Why
go.
did that happen? Because the message that he got was they could solve the problem and call me. And so remember, we're making definitions. If you don't master the art of direct response marketing as a small business owner, Dan Kennedy says you will waste thousands and thousands of dollars on media buying. See, advertising is you ever seen that justice scales, the left and right, balance of justice?
Balance of justice. Yeah.
Okay. One side of the scale is the buying of media, internet ads, radio ads, billboard ads, paper, print ads, ads in emails. I mean, there's plenty of places to buy media. But the other part of the scale was your message making clarity to your offer? Did it give some urgency, a date and a deadline? There are so many strategies to your message that can mean the difference between success and failure. And that's what frustrates the hell out of me is people say, well, I've tried that. Well, I had a guy just on the way here to our session today said, well, I've tried that and it failed. Yeah, well, I don't know what message you sent out. If your message just said lemonade for 50 cents, everybody goes, well, I don't care. It's all about how you build the relationship with the customer through your direct response message with response triggers, easy to understand how to get in touch with you. I'm gonna tell a couple of little quick stories to give you an example of this. Do you remember the talking chihuahua that Taco Bell ran on the television?
Yeah.
So it was back early when they figured out how to make the mouths of animals move so the animals could talk. And they had some talking chihuahua selling tacos. And that ad won awards they're called Clios. But you know why they stopped running that ad? Because nobody bought hamburgers. Nobody bought tacos.
Yeah.
Nobody responded. It was cute. It was entertaining. It was image advertising, but it didn't create an urgency. Same thing. Dave Thomas had an ad agency that created this popular campaign that won Clios. If you're old enough to remember, it was this little old lady going, "Where's the beef? Where's the beef?
Where's the beef?" Yep. Clara Peller.
Yeah. The ads failed because they all thought it was entertaining and cute and image, but they didn't. And then Dave Thomas started coming on saying, "Hi, I'm Dave Thomas." The ad agency said, "You're ugly, you're fat, you're going to ruin the brand." And their sales soared because he built a relationship that he was going to make the best damn tasting hamburger that you ever tasted. I don't know if he said your money.
I'm Dave Thomas, and this is my daughter Wendy, who is sitting next to her.
He built a relationship using response triggers. So those are real life examples.
Same thing with George Zimmer of Men's Warehouse. He said, "Hello, I'm George Zimmer, president of Men's Warehouse." And he talked about it a little bit, and he said, "You're going to like the way you look. I guarantee it."
Well, that is response triggers. And all I'm saying is when it comes to media, it costs the same amount of money to put in front of eyes and ears a bad, poor responding ad like the Taco Bell dog or the Where's the Beef Lady, or the same amount of money to put George Zimmer or Dave Thomas or Lee Iacocca or your personality to guarantee.
Mike Lindell with My Pillow.
All those are great.
We could do an entire segment on his ads and why he's become a billionaire from those ads. Whether you like him or not, he's got everything in there.
Well,
Bold comments, psychological response triggers, offers of free, smiling face, money back guarantee, bullet point, you name it. He's got them in there.
All right. So when you pay for image advertising, you stand the chance of getting poor results. When you pay for direct response advertising and you track and test what's going on, then you can get results. And in fact, I'm going to put this up here, scientificadvertising.com. I'm going to remind you, we've said this before, I'm going to say it again. If you've never heard of Claude Hopkins, you need to read Scientific Advertising. It's a free book. You can download it for free. If you don't go read Scientific Advertising, shame on you. And now let me tell you something, a little story about it. It was written over 100 years ago. But the principles in that book still apply today to media. It's about making, he calls it salesmanship in words. In other words, don't build a brand. Don't build an image. Don't build a feel-good, hey, here's the family sitting on the front yard and having a picnic, and it'll be bug-free because we're sitting here having a picnic. That's all BS. It's, you got bugs, I'll make that problem go away guaranteed. That's direct response. The response is, if you call me, I will give you that promise of results. So at any rate, let me tell you a quick story about Claude Hopkins and Scientific Advertising. He was the king of direct mail, and he did consummate testing. It used to take him 6 months to get a test, something you can get a test result in 6 hours. But now, because of the internet. But back then, he had to test and track. You ever seen these direct mail addresses that say Department A OR or something like that? That's a tracking mechanism. So they know what media that response came from. They're testing and tracking their results. And there's ways to test and track your results today that are far easier than when Claude Hopkins did it. The Schlitz Beer Company was number 13 in America. And Claude went into him and said, you want to be a bigger beer company? And they said, of course. And he said, we need to find something that the audience will embrace and think that you're a better reason to respond to. And they hounded on the fact that they were the only bottles that were sanitized and washed in the whole beer industry. They were a safer, healthier beer bottle. And they got that direct response message in front of the market, and they shot above all their competition. You ought to read about it in Scientific Advertising.
Yeah. And
so anyway,
talking about it, the ads, whether they work or not, and response triggers, David Ogilvy, who is, I don't think he's alive now, but he was back in the, I guess, 50s and 60s, 70s, probably the most successful ad creator, one of them of all time, I guess. But he said, with your ad, he said, you've got to say it in a way that makes people feel it in their gut. Because if they don't feel it, nothing will happen. And those response triggers are the things that make people feel it in their gut. All buying is emotional. It's to solve a problem or relieve a pain of some kind or bring a pleasure, but it's got to be emotional. A non-emotional ad that's just your name and phone number, there's no emotional, there's nothing seductive, hypnotic, powerful, dynamic, irresistible about it. It probably get you a few customers, but not once you learn about response triggers. You've moved into a world that your competition is not aware of, and you can just absolutely skyrocket your sales from your advertising if you learn how to do it. But don't expect an advertising agency to be able to do it for you, because they don't know about it either.
Anyway, the big thing I want to get across more than anything is if all you're doing is portraying an image, spending all the money on media, whatever it is, and you don't have a message that gets people in their gut other than a feel-good message, an image message, like, we're a brand. Coca-Cola can be a brand, but you can't. You have got to have people with problems knowing you can solve it. And that's why you say, I know what problem you have, and I can solve your problem. And advertising is the cost of distributing your message. And where most advertising fails is not the media. The media can get to the eyes and ears. What fails is if the message doesn't hit people in the gut with those response triggers like Hal. And that's what you talk about in your book, How to Grow a Pest Control Business.
Yep.
Guys, I told you about scientific advertising. It's a free book that has the keys to the kingdom. And then we have another free book, How to Grow a Pest Control Business.com. Hal wrote that book. He gives it away free, whether you do business with us or not. We believe in it so much, we're willing to give it away to you for free.
Well, now they can be sure to tell them they can buy it for $30 on Amazon. I'd prefer they do that.
Yeah, well, you know what?
Away free here from this podcast, so you get it. It's free. Download it, and I'll make you this deal. If you read that book and at the end you think it wasn't worth every penny you spent for it, I'll give you double your money back.
Well, at any rate, we say it. Everybody successful in marketing and advertising says it's not one thing, it's 1,000 little things. And testing and tracking, if something works, there was an old saying in advertising, half my advertising, it was by an ad agency, half my advertising isn't working, I just don't know which half. But you get to pay for both halves. Nowadays, if it doesn't work, try something different. If it does work, do more of it. Consistency. Don't run 6 weeks worth of ads and go, well, advertising doesn't work, let's turn it off. I've had that happen. You know what? And that's okay. If that's as close-sided as you want to be, none of my business to try to talk you into doing something you don't want to do. Quite honestly, don't care. I'd rather not work with somebody who's not willing to stay the course. It's like me going to Weight Watchers and saying, hey, I'm fat and I want to lose weight. And then tomorrow afternoon I call them and say, hey, I hadn't lost any weight. Well, they said, well, you got to do the program for a long time. Well, shoot, I don't want to do any of the things you tell me to do. I want to keep eating ice cream and potato chips and I don't want to exercise. Well, guess what? It ain't going to work. You're not going to lose weight. You have to be consistent. You got to stay the course. We consistently advertise. We consistently create content. We consistently do the things that we tell our clients to do, and it works for us. And it would work for you. And in fact, one of the things that I want to talk about right now is I'm going to put it up on for the people watching the YouTube video, people listening to the podcast. Go to pestcontrolmarketer.com or Hal. They can call you, and I'm going to do it real slow. 770-993-0004, 0004, or Hal at Hal Coleman. What would you do if somebody hearing this message, hey, this media we're doing called podcasting is taking this message and offering you something valuable and free? What would you do if they would email you or call you at that number or that email address?
Well, I will set up a 1-hour free coaching call with them, and I will give them some great insights on how to grow their business. I'll send them a questionnaire to fill out, tell me about all their marketing and what they're doing online and offline, and I'll identify the weak points and the places where there's low-hanging fruit. I'll show them some fruit that's so low they'll have to duck to go underneath it.
They're going to have dents in their hat.
And it won't cost them a penny, and there's no obligation. And if you spend an hour with me, and at the end of that hour you say it wasn't worth your while, Mike will send you $100. How about that?
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what. You call me.
Well, never mind. Maybe he won't. But
you know what?
You'll enjoy the hour. You'll come away absolutely convinced that you got some great value from that hour. It was well worth your time. And then if you want to find out about my coaching program, I'll tell you about it. And if you don't want to know about it, I won't. There's no obligation, no strings attached, no run around, no tricks, no bait and switch, no nothing. I just want to get to know you, and I want to help you. So there you go.
Well, that's what we enjoy doing. We're not hard sell. We're just telling you the facts as they are. Some people agree, but the people, we've got case studies and on pestcontrolmarketer.com, you can read testimonials of people that have gone the extra mile. They've done what they needed to do. And to quote one of my clients and one of your clients, Hal, please don't ever quit me because you've doubled my business, tripled my business. And of course, I do the same thing. I love talking to people. I mean, that's one of the things enjoying is I love when that aha light goes off in somebody's head when they go, you know what? Sounds like you know what you're talking about and you want to help me. And I am willing to do what you say. And then, of course, a lot of times I get people who say they're willing to do it and they're not. Well, that's okay. But I'm just telling you, if you are willing to go the extra mile, give me a call at 770-826-3662. And I'd love to look at what you're doing and make recommendations. You may not like what I have to say, but you know what? Sometimes you got to hear some painful things to go get going in the right direction. And so I'm going to tell you what I think. And I know it works because I've done it. I've been around it for 25 years. And the most successful people in the world that I come from are the people that understand direct response marketing. So I think we need to get out of here, Hal.
I need to get out of here, and I got some clients that I need to get in touch with here and do some coaching. So, Mike, as always, it has been fun. It has been a pleasure. And folks, I hope you've received some nuggets from this. Give us a call if you have any questions about this podcast or want any additional information. And until next time, thanks for watching and listening to pestcontrol.marketing.live and the Pest Control Marketing Podcast.
Hal Coleman has been active in the pest control industry for over 40 years, including owning and operating his own successful pest control business for 18 years. He now devotes his time to helping other PCOs and other WCOs double, triple, and even quadruple their businesses faster than they ever imagined. Be sure to check out his website, pestcontrolmarketer.com. For more information about Hal's coaching program, you can reach him at 770-993-0004 or email him hal@halcoleman.com. Mike Stewart is known as the Internet Audio and Video Guy. Since the birth of the Internet, Mike has been showing small business owners how to get more new customers, increase their sales, and grow their businesses online using audio and video, now with iPhones and Android phones. For more information about Mike's coaching program and his online training courses, visit MikeStewartCoaching.com or email him mike@internetaudioguide.com.
Google Pest Control Marketer. Grow your business like never before. Call 770-993-0004.